He can't know me in 20 minutes. Hey guys, I'm Kelly. This is my channel, Incredible Anyway, where I talk about how to live an incredible life no matter what your circumstances are. So in the last video, I share with you all going to my new neuro-otologist appointment, my new Meniere's doctor. Neuro-otologist is an ear, nose, and throat doctor who specializes in treating the ear, and Meniere's is a disease of the inner ear. If you watch the video, you may have noticed that I did not share what happened in the actual appointment, and there's a big reason for that. 2 weeks have passed since that appointment, and I have had time to really think about it and process it, and I think I'm in a place where I can actually talk about what happened during the appointment. In the appointment, I met the doctor and he looked in my ears. He also did some vestibular testing and balance testing. Of course, he had all of my tests and all of my notes from my previous doctor who had retired in his file. I was diagnosed in 2010, so that's a lot to go through. At the beginning, he was asking me questions about my health in general, but also about Meniere's. And he started talking about Meniere's treatment like a Meniere's doctor does when you're first diagnosed. And so I started to get really concerned that he was going to just start over with treatment. When he started doing that, I just thought, oh no. But I remained calm. Like, I didn't have any anxiety. I was just present and answering the questions. And a good bit into the appointment, I asked him, what about surgery? Because he wasn't talking about it. He said, well, we'll consider that when you're more debilitated. And yeah, and this is when something happened that I didn't expect. I cannot remember the majority of the appointment from that point until the moment when I turned to look at my mom, because my mom and the doctor were on opposite sides, and I could tell she was holding back tears. And my mom doesn't cry very often. I can't tell you the last time I saw my mom cry. So seeing in her face that she was holding back tears brought me back to the present moment. It was very weird, confusing. I remembered like a couple of things that happened in that time frame, but the majority of it I didn't remember. After the doctor left the room, my mom hugged me. And when we got into the hallway, she hugged me again. She was, my body was in fight or flight mode. My anxiety was like through the roof. I didn't know what was going on. I was so confused, and I was just listening to what my mom was saying and taking in all that she was saying about the appointment, and it was just really confusing. It's been 2 weeks since the appointment, and I've been able to talk about it with my therapist and really kind of deconstruct what happened, because it really freaked me out that I couldn't remember this big portion of my doctor appointment. And we determined that I was dissociating. Something triggered me related to a trauma that has caused PTSD for me, and my brain started to dissociate. And with dissociation, as my therapist explained it, it's my brain trying to protect me from what it thinks is a very real threat. When you have PTSD, the brain doesn't know that the trauma is over. It thinks the trauma is still going, and so that's why my body was in this fight or flight mode, because it was reacting to what my brain perceived as trauma. And so I dissociated, and I felt a little bit out of my body, and I don't remember it. I've never dissociated in front of somebody else, and certainly not a stranger. My brain was protecting me, and that's a really amazing thing. I'm thankful that it was protecting me, although it just wasn't a very healthy way to protect me. That's why I'm in therapy. That's why I still hope to be able to do EMDR, which we have not done yet because my Meniere's is back and my vertigo is very active, and I cannot do eye movement therapy like just doing that made me a little go, what did I just do? That's on the shelf for now. So we're doing other, therapy right now for my PTSD. It feels very vulnerable. It feels very scary. And especially since this was a monumentous appointment, talking about this really big deal. I waited for 4 years. No, I waited for years, but like I waited for 4 months for this doctor to talk about this. And the fact that like the rubber hits the road, it's time to talk about surgery. It's time to explain my level of disability and debilitation to this doctor. And I can't remember it. Everything I know from that appointment is because my mom was there, and from that period of time in the appointment, I know because my mom told me, with the exception of like a few things that I have like weird recollections of. But what is really incredible is what happened during that time period that I don't remember. My mom said that I was really well spoken. I explained what was going on very well, and I had a very articulate conversation with the doctor. I was able to explain how debilitated I am. I was able to explain how surgery would give me my life back, the functioning it will give me, and the hope that I have for that. He says that he does not do labyrinthectomies. He said it's been a really long time since he'd done one, and labyrinthectomy is the less invasive surgery, albeit still invasive. That one would have destroyed my hearing. I have mild loss in my ear, and so, they don't want to take away something that's there. The other surgery is the vestibular nerve section, which is brain surgery. He said he's very conservative with doing that surgery. He doesn't do it lightly. At some point, apparently, he said to me, I have known you for 20 minutes, but I trust your experience. Anybody who's been chronically ill or had to go to a doctor and tried to tell them about your experience and what you've gone through, it can be so stressful because you're trying to get the doctor in a very short amount of time to understand what your symptoms are, what your life is like, how it affects you. This doctor is a wise enough, an excellent enough doctor to know that he can't know me in 20 minutes. I guess that's how we got to surgery, would be the next steps for me. From the time that I stopped being present and remembering, when I started dissociating, to the time when I just noticed my mom look like she was holding back tears, he got that I was debilitated by this and decided to do surgery that he's very conservative about doing. Apparently, I also talked a lot about the vestibular nerve section. I have done so much research on this surgery. I've read doctors' accounts of the surgery. I have watched the surgery. I know it back and forth. And so I think that the doctor must have seen that I know what I'm talking about, and I've been there. I have done that. I am ready. This surgery, nor any brain surgery, should be taken lightly. So that's why he justifiably is conservative about doing it. And that's why it blows my mind that I have no recollection of this conversation. It was such a big conversation, and yet I had it without remembering it. And you know what that gives me is huge appreciation for the brain and how it works. So I walked out of there with the doctor saying, let's take the next steps. So the next steps are, I need a MRI of my brain. I have had 7. The last MRI of my brain I had was in 2016. So since it's been a while. And then I need to meet with the neurosurgeon that does the surgery with him. So the neurosurgeon will be the one that will give me like the yes for sure. And then after the neurosurgeon, I come back to the neurotologist, my Meniere's doctor, and we go through the surgery, talk through the surgery. I don't know what step along that road that I get scheduled for surgery. I'm not scheduled for surgery now. I don't even have a neurosurgeon appointment because my Meniere's doctor's office is so slow. I have been calling and calling and calling, and they just have not gotten the referral out to the neurosurgeon. And I called even again today. I will feel relieved finally once the surgery is scheduled. I definitely feel more relieved once they see the neurosurgeon because he can say no. So it's not a complete done deal yet, but we're on the road. We're on the path that I wanted to be on. And I will tell you, it took me a few days to finally realize that. When I got home from that appointment, my brain and body were done, and I had to fall asleep, and it's like my body and my brain needed a reset. After I woke up, I called my mom crying because I was so confused about what happened. And I had her retell me things that happened in the appointment. What's really hard for me is accepting the fact that PTSD is a part of my life right now, and the stuff that goes with PTSD is part of my life right now. Right now, I've been dealing with Meniere's attacks every day. I'm having a break at the moment, but I have been in bed all day for the last many days with debilitating Meniere's, and it has been very hard. I'm still trying to live in the present moment. Some moments that's really, really hard, but I can tell you I have a lot to be thankful for. My support system, my family, my friends, you guys. I love you guys. Thank you for caring enough about my journey to follow it. It means the world to me. I'm Kelly. Remember, you are not alone. Let's go live a life that's incredible. Anyway. Incredible anyway. I love you guys. Big hugs. If I don't follow. Bye.
You are not alone in this world. You are not alone. You are not alone in this world. You are not alone.